the fed back, we could have owned it. We could have structured it in that fashion, and we didn't. So we don't own the dam, and we pay a lot for our electrical bills. I've been maintaining that the taking of our water, which the BIA defines as property, it constitutes a termination of our treaty rights under the Fort Laramie Treaty. I maintain that this particular compact undermines our tribal sovereignty because it not only takes a lot. I'm told that and I looked at a map this evening with regard to tribal land ownership as compared with Atty land ownership. And I'm told that that map represents that the tribe owns approximately 10% of the land on this reservation, and Atty's own 45%. So if that's true, and I think it is, then the tail is wagging the dog here. In other words, we should be in control of what happens to our water rights, not the tribe. So when you take a property element away from a tribe, even if you place it like they have done with the tribal administration, the amount of water that's been given away to the state on this reservation erodes and undermines and diminishes our tribal sovereignty. One of the elements of tribal sovereignty is water. It's land. It's customs and traditions. It's government. It's the courts. It's economic development. It's all of it. Water is a main element in the establishment and maintenance of tribal sovereignty. So it's always been my hope and goal to find a way to encourage the Crow tribe to move towards self-sufficiency. And I don't think the Water Compact moves us towards self-sufficiency. I think the Water Compact undermines our self-sufficiency. And I've given you one example, and that's taking the money and putting it in an irrevocable trust and using the income from it where we build our own dams and canals. But that money never goes away. The 400 to 500 million combined federal and state stays in an irrevocable trust. And like the Coal Trust Fund in Helena, they did in 1999, had an income stream of approximately $42 million a year. That would look pretty good on our books. And we could do an awful lot with that on our books. So sustainability and self-sufficiency, I don't think is being obtained here. Think about your property. Maybe you're down on the river bottom and they can get water to you pretty easily. So think of the folks here that are on mountainside. And after, I don't know, let's say mid-July, sometimes 1st of August, you run out of water because the runoff is diminished and you want access to other water. How are they going to get it to your mountainside property or on the other side of the mountain property? I don't know. So, in conclusion, let me leave you with this thought. The deadline to settle this negotiation can be extended because there's been a bona fide effort to settle the compact and a bona fide effort to reach some conclusion. The 45% landowners on this reservation need to speak out now and reserve their water right for the future of their children and grandchildren. The Crow tribe, there's threats though the Crow tribe's going to go to court. I used to practice a lot in federal court, and I'd had over 24 appeals that I argued before the Ninth Circuit Court. And there are 415 other tribes that haven't negotiated their water compact, and there's a precedent out there that it takes time to do this. Do we have the time? Yes, we do. Should we take it? Yes, we should. The tribe should not force the allottees to go to court. Why would the tribe do that? That's rather vindictive. The tribe should be supporting the allottees. They should change their mental paradigm on the fact that we're competitors with them over tribal water and help us to perfect our claim. Everybody will prosper as a result of that. So I'm urging that in order to maintain our tribal sovereignty, in order to protect tribal members' water rights, to protect our sacred waters, because we use waters for a lot of spiritual and religious purposes here, and to protect the water rights of your grandchildren that you will know on March 8th. I hope.
Birgit, would you collect question card, please? Okay, a question. Yes, sir, a question?
Yeah, I guess it's for both for Bill and Dr. Willis. First one is for Dr. Willis. When you made your presentation, do you agree that the streams other than Bighorn are over appropriated?
The question is, are the streams other than the Bighorn, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Over appropriated?
The example, is this working?
Yeah.
Okay. The example that I gave was not on the Bighorn River, it was on the Little Bighorn River.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay. And in that case, yes, I believe it is over appropriated. And most of the river basins in all of Montana have been over appropriated.
Yeah. And what your comments before is that the reason there's so many non-tribal members on that creek or river is because the tribal members hold that right to them. And basically, he has a tribal priority date of 1868, right?
If you go to the website, you can look at who has a water right.
So that's right.
You can look it up.
1868, a non-tribal member has that right.
Yes.
1868. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. If that water is already appropriated to every landowner within that non-tribal and tribal members, and he can prove that he has a PIA on the mountainside, Bill, where is that water going to come from? Is that reality? Is that going to hold up in court?
Well, a person could go get their water from groundwater by drilling.
And that's
So it doesn't have to come from the river, for example.
I think reality on reservation is that we can't kick these white people out, right? Bill, we can't kick them out, right?
No, they own the land in Fee Pattern.
Yeah, and they own the water for it. They have a right to use the water, don't they?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's what I'm getting at, is that if they're over appropriated and he wants to irrigate land that isn't irrigated currently and isn't in the project, even going to court, where you can get the water?
From groundwater. Because the groundwater is not connected to the surface water.
In this compact, the groundwater is administered by the tribe. What happens is that your grandfather did, if you have a well right now, you're a non-tribal or tribal member. And after the compact passes, if you want a well, you have to come to the tribe and get a permit,
Yeah.
tribal or non-tribal member. But your grandfather before that, and that's the way the compact was negotiated. The groundwater, the reason the groundwater was given to the tribe was because of those two things. Littlemore and Pryor, they're over appropriated. You're going to have to get some water somewhere else. Somebody's going to get cut out. And that's where you talk like we're not in court. We are in court. The 1973 General Stream Adjudicated is a court action. We act like we have a choice. We don't have a choice. We're in court right now. And that's why we call it negotiations. Negotiations outside of court. If it don't work, we go back to court. In court, we're not going to get no money. That's kind of like, I don't know, hoping we can get this fund here and hoping that we can get this fund here. Maybe we can put it all together and have a big old piggy bank. But reality isn't that way. You can't get through nothing through the state legislature or Congress. The situation is now.